Hello and welcome to Books and Beyond. I'm Jimmy Bennet, your host, and Books and Beyond is the show where we help people to personify their aspirations. First, before we get started, I want to do a couple of shameless plugs. One is for CAPA, the Connecticut Authors and Publishers Association of Southeastern Connecticut. It's a great group, a great network of writers, editors, illustrators. If you have anything to do with the written word or you're interested at all, we meet on the third Monday of every month, usually at the Groton Public Library. This month we will not because it's our Christmas party, but starting next year, we always have good speakers, and it's a great way to meet other authors, get inspiration, do a little networking. And second, I'd like to talk a little bit about Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a group that helps people learn how to public speak better, without saying I've enjoyed it very much. It's helped me an awful lot. And if you want to learn how to present well, give better speeches, even for business or for pleasure or whatever, they meet the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month at the Mill Center at the Aquarium in Mystic. So it's a very nice group of people, and I urge you, if you're interested, to check that out. And one last shameless plug is for my Christmas book, A Castle Christmas. It's that time of year. It's a nice little, I call it a Hallmark story in print. It's a cozy mystery with some funny things, a little romance. But in any case, so today I would like to introduce my guest, Elissa Bass. I met Elissa last month at a sip and sign for Operation Fresh Start at the mansion at
Haley Mansion.
What do they call it?
Haley Mansion.
The Haley Mansion.
Yep.
Up behind Rocks 21.
Yes. At the Inn at Mystic.
And that was really a nice event.
Such a great night.
Yeah.
And such a great cause.
Yes.
Operation Fresh Start, one of my favorite nonprofits in the region. Yep.
And Shannon DePerry, the president and founder, is just, closest thing we have to a saint in this town.
Oh, I agree.
She's
I agree.
Unbelievably good.
She's amazing.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Elissa. How did you get into writing?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And it was great to meet you a few weeks ago. So I have been a writer my whole career. I come from a family of writers. Both my parents, journalists, my brother, a journalist, my sister, a college professor, and also a writer. So a lot of writing. It's kind of genetic. And I worked in newspapers for probably the first 30 years of my career. I was at The Day in New London for almost 25 years. Then I left there and I went to Patch, which is an online news organization, and I ran that for a few years in Eastern Connecticut. And then I transitioned into marketing and communications, which is still really heavy on the researching and the writing. So basically my whole career professionally, I have written. My first novel, Happy Hour, came out last year. It's a romance, it's fiction. And then this is my second novel, Please Wait to Cross, which I just published in September. So I had sort of thought about writing a novel. My dad published 14 novels.
Oh my God.
My mother has published, I think she's up to 6 now. So I had thought about it sort of over the years, but as I'm aging out of the workforce and aging into more free time, I thought I was just going to see if I could write a book. So I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. So now, what did you do at The Day? Did you have a certain beat?
Oh, I did everything.
You?
I started out as a town reporter in and I pretty much did every job that there was there. I was in reporting. I was a beat reporter for a long time, education, health, food. I was the Night City editor. I was the features editor. The last few years at The Day, I was the breaking news editor, so I ran the website. So I did everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I must have seen your name on a byline.
Oh, I even to this day, so I've not been at the Day since 2010.
Yep.
And even to this day, and it's so cool, people will say to me, oh, I used to love reading you in the paper.
Yep.
When I was the features editor, I wrote a column, sort of a lifestyle column, and wrote a lot about parenting and raising children and being a working mother and that sort of thing. And I always got a lot of great response to that. So I don't miss the daily grind of journalism. But I do miss the connection to people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you're in good company. Steve Schlossberg, and, Rick Koster, both have written books now.
Rick Koster has written several books.
Yes.
He actually, when Please Wait to Cross, he actually hosted both of my book events at Bank Square Books.
Oh, nice. Okay.
When they came out. He and I worked together for years.
Yep.
And he is one of my favorite people and such a talented writer and so knowledgeable about books and music and everything.
Right.
So he joined me for both of my book launch parties at Bank Square Books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up in a family of writers, journalists, how was that? Was it like competition or was it inspiration?
I don't feel like it was competition. I do feel like at a really young age, I knew way more about current events than anybody else, like any of my friends. Just because my parents, both as journalists, there was just a lot of talk about what was going on.
Right.
Right? So I have always sort of been hyper aware of what's happening around me. I'm not sure if I have innate curiosity or if I have learned curiosity just from growing up around people whose job it was to ask other people questions.
Right.
But I am a very curious, some might say nosy person. And, but I don't think we were competitive. I think my parents were incredibly supportive and great editors. I mean, I was writing stuff in college that professors were like, did you really write this? Because I had just had great editors my whole life, right? So
that's a nice advantage.
Yeah, yeah. The child of English majors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I find that's my hardest thing. I'm not I'm not good with editing and formatting and stuff like that. I have a friend that does that for me, my brother-in-law. But I wish I learned more about it or was better at it. I just want to write. I mean, I need a team.
Well, I mean, I need a team too. And I hire someone to edit my books, and I hire somebody to publish them because I can't. As an editor in a newspaper for all those years, I have a really good eye for design. Can I do it myself? No, not in a million years. But I know what looks good.
Right.
And I know what you want it to look like.
Right.
So, but I too have a team because I am good at the word part.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's just me. I would rather just sit down and just keep writing. Pass it on to somebody else. All right, do something with that.
Yeah. Make this a book. Yeah.
Do your sons, anybody have any interest in? Is the next generation?
So our daughter is a journalist in New York City. She works for MSNBC, but she's on the visual side of things. She graduated college with a degree in graphic design, and so she works on video and graphics and stuff. So she's news, but she's visual news.
Right.
Our son, not a whit of interest in journalism or writing or anything.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, it's great.
Just
I love
wondering, neither one of my sons, I have my doubts they even read the books. I keep giving them to them, but which is all right, but I just kind of just incredible. I don't know. I was just thinking, wow, how much neat that would have been to have parents that were writers and journalists.
Yeah,
and,
it was very cool. And I will say, because these are romances, they are contemporary romances, they are steamy romances. And people who read them say to me, did your kids read these books?
No.
And I say, well, yes, they did. They read them when they were a manuscript, because I have people, as you probably do,
Yep.
right? You give your manuscript to people and you say, give me feedback. So they were like, your kids read this? And I say, well, yeah, because they're grown-ups.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My mom
I
read
didn't give
it
it to them
too.
in the second grade to say, hey, look this over. Look this over for mommy.
Yeah,
But,
they're adults.
Yeah.
You know, my mom read it too, so
Yeah.
read them too. So yeah.
No, I mean, it's good. Now, I saw, like I told you, I did a little cyber stalking earlier.
yes,
I went on your website, and you still kind of busy working right now, right?
I freelance. Yeah.
Right.
I'm sort of.
I saw you had UConn.
Oh well,
Rosa.
I teach journalism at UConn.
Right.
Yes.
That's
That is so great. You know, I'm in my 60s now, and I sort of feel like, oh, I wish I had started doing this 35 years ago. It's so fun. I teach basically introduction to news writing, which is the newbie, greenest of the green, hopeful journalists, and to watch them. This week is our last class. To watch them progress from August, when they literally don't know anything, to now where they're writing full-blown, fully reported, beautifully crafted pieces of journalism.
right.
It just, I get like, at the end of every semester, I'm always like, oh my God, you guys are so great.
Yeah.
Because it's just an amazing accomplishment for them to come, to become reporters.
Right.
And to sort of get it. And,
Right.
and to be able to write a story that's gonna provide information in a clear and concise way, which is always the goal, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And then Hartford Healthcare, I guess you do some work
I do
for
some
them?
freelance writing for Hartford Healthcare. Yeah, I've done. I have worked a lot in the nonprofit area over the last 15 years, just because nonprofits have tight budgets, and I am not an agency, right? So I'm considerably more affordable for a lot
Right.
of organizations than if they, tried to get what they needed to have done through an agency. So
Right.
that's kind of how I've made my living over the last 15 or 16 years, where I freelance, I do consulting for social media and marketing and communications. I can bang out a press release for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the last one that was really fascinating was the Perkins School for the Blind.
So I freelance for them. I do mostly website work for them. But it's like a personal connection that I had. A woman that I worked with at Patch went to Perkins, and then she needed somebody to write a bunch of stuff for her. And she said, oh, I know exactly who we can hire to do that. And then, you do good work for people and they keep coming back.
Yeah.
So it's not a regular gig, but when they call me and when they need me, they call me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's nice, though.
They are an
That's good.
incredible organization.
Yeah.
That is an incredible organization. Yeah.
That's nice to be able to help out like that.
Yeah.
Put your talent to use.
Yeah.
So, at what point, I saw an incredible quote the other day from James Cameron, the director, and somebody asked him, how did you get started, in all this? And he said, when Star Wars came out, he goes, because I was watching on the screen all these ideas that have been in my head for years since I was a kid. And I said to myself, I have a saleable imagination. Now, did that ever sort of feel that way?
Not until you literally just said it. But I love that because that's
Isn't that a great quote?
yes, that's it exactly.
Yep.
And it's funny because I was sort of over the years thinking like, oh, maybe I'll write a novel, but nothing sort of hit me in terms of an idea. During COVID, when we were all trapped, I started reading romance novels because they're easy to read. They're basically all the same, and you don't need a lot of concentration. And by the end of the lockdown, who had any concentration left, right? No one. So I became really fascinated with the genre as a writer. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that, if I could just write a romance. So I decided, let's try. And then I decided, so Happy Hour is a menopause romance because I wanted to write a character that I could relate to.
Right.
So she's 55 years old. She's menopausal. She's given up on life. Everything is terrible. And then she meets a 35-year-old bartender.
Okay.
A hot surfer guy.
Yep.
And that's where the romance begins. So it only took me about 6 months to write because I just was like, it just came pouring out of me. The second book, Please Wait to Cross, also a romance. It's second in the series. It's about the sister from, so in Happy Hour, the heroine is KK, and in Please Wait to Cross, it's her older sister, Beth. I wanted, these characters from Happy Hour were still talking to me in my head. I couldn't get them to be quiet, and so Beth kind of needed her own story. So I sat down and I started writing Beth's story. It took me 1.5 years to write the second one. It was much harder. And I had to literally walk away from it a couple of times because it was fighting back almost. So the first one was easy. The second one was hard. But I feel like the second one is more well-rounded and more of a full-blown story. It's a romance, but there's a lot more to it.
Right. Now, when you write, I know when I write, I do mostly mysteries, and I understand what you're saying because I'm really at the point. I have 6, and I'm going to do 3 more shorter stories, but I'm almost done with that. With my characters, I just sort of like, there's so much more I want to write, and as you get older, you're like thinking, well, I gotta,
I know, I'm running out of time.
Yeah, I'm running out of time here if I'm going to write this one and write that one and write this one. But when you write a romance, do you have an end game in sight? I mean, do you, like when I write a mystery, there's a murder and then you solve it. All right, so that's your end game, solving the murder.
Right.
And then everything in between you got to fill in.
Right.
So I'm almost working backwards. When you write a romance novel, does it just sort of flow like it would flow in a relationship?
So first let me say, I have huge admiration for mystery writers. My dad was a mystery writer at the end of his career, and the fact that you have to have the whole thing figured out is mind-boggling to me. And I think that's incredible that you write like that, because do I know, basically what I know from my stories is there's going to be a happy ending.
Right.
But I don't know what that ending is.
Right.
Until I literally get to it.
Right.
In romance, they meet, there's a relationship, there's typically some sort of catastrophic event called the third act breakup, and then there's a happy ending. That's the flow of your typical romance novel. So was I following that flow? 100%. Did I end up in both of these books where I thought I was going to end up? No, not even close. I literally didn't know what the ending of Happy Hour of Please Wait to Cross was going to be until I wrote it. That's one of the times where I had to walk away from it and come back, because I was really struggling with, it's going to be a happy ending. I just couldn't figure out how.
Yep.
So people are like, oh, do you outline? Do you have plot points? Do you do? No.
Yeah.
Nope. It's all in here, and it's utter chaos, and literally things happen on the page that take me by surprise. So
isn't that great?
I know, it's so crazy, isn't it?
It is.
It's so crazy.
It is.
It happens a lot to me.
Yep.
I felt like in my professional life, I was a very organized person. I had a day planner, and I had that big calendar on my desk and everything. And I feel as a fiction writer, I am extremely chaotic, which is unusual. I feel like that's not really me. I don't know. Maybe it's me as an old lady. Could be a sign of something else. Who knows? So the general structure of the romance kind of kept me corralled, but I didn't know what was happening from one chapter to the next.
Yeah.
It just sort of evolved.
It's funny, but it's hard to describe that to people. I'm sure you get the same thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, how do you write a book? How do you write a book? How do you?" I say, "You sit down, and you type, or write, or whatever your medium is.
Yeah.
But you just do it. Just let it flow out of you. Just let it. And you're right. Sometimes I write things. I remember there was a few times with Kappa there was writing contests, and they wanted an opening chapter for a book. And totally not totally out of my purview, because I do deal with mysteries and stuff, but I did a serial killer from the serial killer's point of view.
Okay.
And when I got done with that first, I think it was 5 or 8 pages, I was like, where did that come from? Oh my God! Should I get a therapy or something?
What
I
am
mean,
what am I going through?
yeah. And is it like that when you write a romance novel? I mean, do you put a little fantasy into it, a little,
I mean, there's definitely a lot of me in both of these books, especially Happy Hour. But there's also sort of, I think, because I think in romance, there's the book boyfriend, he's perfect.
right?
My characters are far from perfect, but I think an effective romance, there has to be redemption of the couple, right, at
Right.
the end. So I'm always sort of working towards that. My characters are always extremely flawed individuals just because I'm an extremely flawed individual and I want my fictional characters to ring true.
Right.
And I think I accomplished that.
Yep. That's nice. I saw that you got a rave review from Luann Rice.
So, yes, so Rick Coster, when my first book came out, Rick said, "Do you want me to send a copy to Luann and ask her if she would read it?" And I said, "Oh my God, yes." And she emailed me within like 10 days and said, "Rick gave me your book, and I love it, and I'm crying reading this email because it's just so incredible." And so I feel we have become friends, I feel like, over the last year and a half. She might not say the same thing. We email a lot. She's crazy busy. I've got my own thing going on. We do have sort of this email relationship. So I asked her if she would read Please Wait to Cross. And she said, of course. And she, again, gave me a great blurb. She's been a huge supporter of mine. She talked about Happy Hour all last year. Whenever she did an interview about anything, she somehow managed to get Happy Hour into that conversation.
Nice.
She's really been just so kind and so supportive. And I think the whole author community is so kind and so supportive. The Kappa group, I know a lot of people in that organization. There's people like Shannon who do these book events. There's the organizations, the Connecticut Book Festivals and Nutmeg Lit Fest,
Yep.
who volunteers who spend a tremendous amount of time putting together these author events all across the state where we can all come and sell our books.
Right.
And in a lot of times, it's the only opportunity to sell your books.
Yes.
Right? So it's hard out here.
It is.
For an indie author. And this author community and these authors who work together and who support each other, that has been a revelation to me. It's not anything that I expected, but it's just been incredible to be part of it. Everyone is just really, it's like a real community.
Right. I'll tell you, that's something that almost every author can agree with is the marketing. It's getting your book out there. We all had that dream when we wrote our first book, that we'd be the next Stephen King, and the checks would roll in and you'd be able to buy a yacht and sail around and write books on your yacht. But it's not even that so much for me. I'm not really worried about the commercial success. I'm not a starving artist, but I like it when people read my books. I like it when they enjoy my books. Like anybody else, I love getting, "Hey, I read the book. Oh, I thought that was so good." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
To me, that's worth all the time I put into it. And writing for me is, I'm sure, like for you, it's just sort of it's better than TV. You know what I mean? I don't know how to put it. You know what I mean?
Well, and also, as you age, I feel like it kind of keeps you sharp, right? Because
Yes.
it keeps your brain thinking about
Right.
things. And as you know, too, even when you're not physically sitting at your laptop, tapping on the keys, you are working on your book.
Right.
Right? And I'll wake up in the middle of the night, or I'll be driving over the Gold Star Bridge and I'll be like, "Oh my God." And I'll grab my phone and I'll
Yep.
do a quick voice memo to myself because otherwise I'll forget.
Yep.
So you're always working on your book. And I feel like that is part of what's kind of, as I'm in kind of the tail end moving into retirement age, kind of what's keeping me going is that next chapter in that next book.
Yeah. And do you have plans for another book?
So I'm actually working on 2 right now. The third one in this series, and then out of the blue, a character popped into my head who has nothing to do with these people, and she wouldn't shut up. And so I started writing something. I'm not quite sure what it is. I've only got about 35 pages of it, but it's in there, so I'm going for it, right? I mean, I can't shut them up.
Right.
I have to let them out. And so writing them down.
I've been a little bit more frustrated lately because the storyline and stuff are fine in my head, but when I'm in these books, I'm set. As I told you earlier, they're set between 1900 and 1933. They're all about Mystic, Stonington, Noank, but I'm using real people, real places, the landmarks, the way the world was then. Everything is, as far as I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. And it seems like every time I get 3 pages in, I'm like, oh, I got to go find a map or a description of this area, or where was this thing? And so much is lost in history. I mean, people, unfortunately, there's not even people of that age anymore. I could sit down and ask, well, what was it like? Where was, what was here? What was there?
Right.
And digging up old maps and trying to, they're wonderful at the Historical Society, Mystic and Noank.
Yeah, and Stonington too. We're actually really lucky around here. We have such great historical societies, and they really have treasure troves of stuff. But even then, it's like you got to. It's digging. You're literally digging out information.
And it's just sort of like you say, oh man, now I gotta find out what was on River Road back then.
Right.
But anyways, it was. But I did actually start another fictional novel, which I can do completely out of my head. And now I'm sort of bouncing back and forth. But it's keeping me off the streets.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm bouncing back and forth. And so far, it's not terrible. I feel like I'm going to get to a point in one of them where I have to set the other one aside.
Yep.
I haven't hit that point yet. And now we're in the holidays, right? I'm not going to do anything till after the first of the year.
I know.
I'm going to go home and eat a turkey sandwich after I leave here.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I keep thinking I should have, looked for more events to do, over the Christmas season, and it's kind of a good time of year. But like I said, I just, I've been I had a pretty hectic life for the last 3 years. I was a caregiver, and now I have the free time and stuff. And I'll tell you what, I do admire, because you're very good with the digital side of things.
Thank you.
You have a great website. I know that you do blogs and stuff like that, and I need to get better at that. And it's just, like I said, I should sit down and try to do it, but then I want to write.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly, yeah.
And one quick thing before we get off here, though, I wanted to mention, because you told me there's a lot of Easter eggs in your book about the area.
So there are. So both books are set on Cape Cod, but I don't say specifically where on Cape Cod, because sort of the whole beach community town area that they're in is a absolute combination of Stonington, Mystic, Watch Hill, Misquamicut, Westerly, a little bit of Cape Cod, Dennis, and Wellfleet thrown in. But it's pretty much like there's a scene early on in Happy Hour where kids are crabbing at the beach, and it's 100% Stonington Point.
Okay.
Because my kids crabbed at Stonington Point for their entire childhood,
Yep.
right? And the bar in Happy Hour, which is completely based, it's called Dockside in the book. When you read the description of Dockside, you'll be like, gosh, that sounds like Breakwater in Stonington.
Yep.
So it's 100% Breakwater. The whole layout of it,
Right.
I got a lot of inspiration for some stuff in Happy Hour from just hanging out at the bar at Breakwater.
Right.
So if you know, when you read these books, you'll be like, oh, I know exactly where that is or what that is. College friends of mine, high school friends of mine also have Easter eggs in these books. I get a lot of texts of like, I can't believe you put that in there, but it's super fun to do that. I really like.
I use a lot of my friends' names.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
For characters,
I do too. Yeah.
So, where is your book available?
So locally, it's at Bank Square Books, Martin House in Westerly. The Golden Owl just reopened in New London. They had a water issue and they had to close. They've been closed for a few months, but they just reopened, and they are, if they haven't yet stocked it, they are stocking it. So it's also available, I think, at BAM in Waterford,
Okay.
and online, obviously, but
Right.
I always ask folks to just shop as local as they can. Also, if it's not in your local bookstore, they will order it for you.
Right. Okay.
So any local bookstore will order it for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the show.
Oh, thank you. It was great to be here.
And I'm looking forward to reading your books. Good luck with everything, and hope we get to do another event together.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And same to you. Good luck with all the history.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's it for Books and Beyond today. We'll see you next time.